Big Slam, you know the vibe. You know we got another dark one. Got a dark one today, man. Yeah, this one is Dark Majic. Yeah, Dark Magic. Yeah, she played with the dark magic and she paid the ultimate price. So we're gonna get into this one. Yeah, we're gonna see what's going on with this one. Yeah, you know what to do. Like and subscribe. This one here should be a dark one.
In the morning, she called me out. She called, wake me up, talking about some TJ. She say, I know you sleep. I know you gotta work in the morning. She say, but let me tell you something right quick. I'm like, what you talking about? What's up? She talking about some well, my last 5 exes within the last 7 years they died. Huh? What you talking about? She said, I wish death upon them. I said, bro, you is tripping.
So look, before we get into what I'm about to share with you today, I need you to understand something. What you're about to hear is going to sound unbelievable, but we have video evidences to back it up. It's about a 29-year-old mother who told everyone around her that she wasn't going to make it to her 30th birthday. 2 months later, she was gone. Now, I know what some of you are thinking right now. You're thinking this is going to be another one of those stories where we're going to blame the ex-boyfriend. And I'm going to be honest with you, that's where everybody went at first. Social media had this man's name in their mouth for months. But when you hear what he has to say, when you see the evidence, when you understand what was really happening in the weeks before Alexis Ware disappeared, you're going to realize this story is so much more complicated than any of us could have imagined. Because here's what we know for sure. On January 30th, 2022, Alexis Ware pulled into a 7-Eleven gas station in Anderson, South Carolina to meet her ex, TJ Patterson. They were doing a routine custody exchange. Their 2-year-old son, her 9-year-old daughter, nothing out of the ordinary. But when they left that gas station, when Alexis got to a red light and was supposed to follow TJ to his mother's house, she did something nobody expected. She drove around his car, sped off into the night, and nobody has seen Alexis Ware since. Her car was found 3 days later, abandoned on a dirt road in McCormick County. Her phone was inside. Her purse was inside. Her ID, her belongings, a bag of clothes, everything was there. And outside the car, lying in the grass, was the black hair bonnet she'd been wearing that night. But Alexis, she was gone. Now that's the basic story that was reported. But what the news didn't tell you, what most people don't know, is what Alexis was saying in the days before she disappeared, what she was doing, and who she was running from. Let me introduce you to Alexis Ware, because you need to understand who this woman really was before everything changed. Alexis was 29 years old, a mother of 2 beautiful children. And when I say she was about her business, I mean this woman was a go-getter. She was a hairstylist, working from her home studio. She was a makeup artist, and she had started building a pretty significant following on social media. We're talking Instagram model type content. She was cultivating her brand, and she saw an opportunity to really make something of herself. She had dreams. She had already gotten her business license. She was planning to open a clothing boutique and a hair salon in Atlanta, where her brother Travis lived. She had already gotten approved to break her apartment lease. She was buying merchandise, getting clothing racks, making plans for her future. Her mama, Alberta, told reporters that when Alexis set her mind on something, she made it happen. That was just who she was. She was living in Greenville, South Carolina at the time, in Rocky Creek Apartments. And by all accounts, Alexis was the type of woman people gravitated to. She was warm, she was kind, she was supportive. Her brother Travis described her as everything you could want in a big sister. But here's what's important. Alexis wasn't known for being dramatic. She wasn't someone who created chaos or went looking for attention. She was grounded, she was practical. She handled her business. And that's why when she started saying the things she was saying in January 2022, everybody who knew her knew something was wrong. Now let's talk about TJ Patterson, because you need to understand their relationship to understand what happened. TJ is the father of Alexis's youngest child, her 2-year-old son. Alexis also had a 9-year-old daughter from a previous relationship with a man known as Sosa. And here's something that stood out to me.
It's Sosa.
Alexis had managed to maintain good relationships with both of her children's fathers. She understood that her kids needed stability. She understood that co-parenting worked better when everybody acted like adults. And from what people said, that's exactly what she did. Now TJ and Alexis, they had their own love story. He slid into her DMs. They clicked immediately, and Alexis couldn't help herself.
Man said he slid into the DMs, man. As you do, as you do.
She was posting about this man all over social media, talking about what he meant to her, how happy she was. You know how it is when you think you found the one. You want the whole world to know, and it seemed real. TJ was showing her affection right back. They were all over each other's pages. Then Alexis found out she was pregnant. Not just pregnant, twins. They posted about it. Everybody was celebrating because this looked like love. But life doesn't always go according to plan. During one of those routine doctor visits, they got news that broke them. They lost one of the babies. TJ posted about that pain, and you could feel it through the screen when he wrote, "This feeling I can shake or hide sitting in the doctor office, waiting to hear both of the twins' heartbeat. And the doctor tells you, I'm sorry, but I can't find the other one's heartbeat. Boy, like something went all over me, like half of me died right then." At first, knowing that I had twins for my firstborn was a big challenge, but it then began to grow on me, and I couldn't wait. Baby boy, I hope and pray that you get here healthy and strong. Daddy gon' call you twin. Daddy got you, baby boy. Alexis Ware, when their surviving baby boy was born.
That's sad, man. That's sad, man. R.I.P. to little man. That's sad.
TJ stepped up, at least from what everybody could see. Pictures of him with the baby. Pictures with Alexis looking like the perfect little family. Everyone around them said TJ was a good man, a great father, treated Alexis right. But eventually things fell apart. They tried to work it out. They really did. But some things just can't be fixed. TJ left Alexis in October 2021. We're talking about 3 months before she went missing. And according to him, he hadn't been back to her apartment, not even once since he left. Now this is where the story gets interesting, because after they broke up, Alexis started acting differently. People close to her noticed changes. And then in January 2022, in those final weeks before she disappeared, Alexis started saying things that terrified everyone who heard them. But before we get into what she was saying to her family, we need to hear from TJ himself. Because on social media, this man's name was getting dragged. People were accusing him of being involved. They were calling him a suspect. They were nailing him to the cross, as he put it. And he felt like he had to defend himself.
Yeah, he would have to defend himself at this point, because I think you're the last person to see her. So, yeah, man. That's techie still.
So TJ went live, and what he said in that video is going to give you the context you need to understand what was really going on with Alexis in those final days. Now I'm going to let TJ speak for himself here, because his words matter. This is what he said, and I'm going to give you his exact words.
Been remaining calm too long, bro. Y'all got me messed up. Man. Y'all got me messed up. Real talk. Alright, check it. Why y'all out there slandering my name, saying I'm a suspect, all this? I done heard everything in the book, man. I'm talking about, y'all done nailed me to the cross. Y'all got me messed up, bro. I'm not one of them. But check it though. So, I'm gonna run this thing all the way back before Lex went missing. You feel me? Alright. For one, me and Lex been separated. You feel me? I left Lex. Lex didn't leave me. You feel me? So boom, I left off and up there around about October. You know what I'm saying? I ain't been out there, been back up there not one time. You feel me? Not one time.
So he's establishing the timeline. They broke up in October.
So boom, god dang on. Before Lex took this, her being missing, Lex was, I don't know, she was dealing with some kind of spiritual root shit. I don't know what was going on. She just been talking outside her head. You know what I'm saying?
Spiritual root work. Now hold on to that, because we're gonna come back to that. But first, TJ tells us about a phone call he got from Alexis. And this phone call, this is where everything starts to make sense in the most disturbing way possible.
So Tuesday night, 1:30 in the morning, she called me out. She called, wake me up, talking about some TJ. She say, I know you sleep. I know you gotta work in the morning. She say, but let me tell you something right quick. I'm like, what you talking about, Lit? What's up? She talking
Bro, she called him bare early in the morning as well, like some crazy time, bro. That's crazy.
about some well, my last 5 exes within the last 7 years, they died. Huh? What you talking about? She said, I wish death upon them.
Now, how would you react if somebody called you at 1:30 in the morning talking like that? TJ's response was,
I said, bro, you is tripping. You know what I'm saying? You need help, man. Get off my phone. You talking crazy. I hung up. She started sending me all type of pictures of a ladybug crawling on the ceiling, what the meanings of it, her Pisces sign, all type of weird talk. You know what I'm saying?
now some of you might be wondering, did 5 of her exes really die? We don't have confirmation of that. What we do know is that Alexis believed it, or at least she was saying it, and that's what matters for understanding her state of mind. TJ continues.
So she fucking around later on in the week. She thinks y'all seen all the posters she was making, talking about she won the lottery, hit the lottery, and all type of shit. So she done spending that in Augusta, at the lottery place with the kids in the car, all that.
She's posting on social media about winning the lottery, and reportedly, she spent a night at a lottery office in Augusta, Georgia with her kids in the car. Does that sound like the grounded, practical, level-headed Alexis that everybody knew?
No, I don't. Still, it don't, man. She sounds like she's losing her mind, bro. Like she's got some demons that she's fighting against or something. Get it? Like, that sounds a bit mad.
No, something was happening to this woman. Something was changing. Now, let's get to that final weekend. The weekend before she disappeared, TJ explains.
Boom, come Saturday. You know what I'm saying? I ain't seen my son in 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Me and Les ain't been talking none of that. You know what I'm saying? Ain't did none of that. So Saturday before she came missing, she called me. She was like, TJ, I'm down at my mama's house. She say, if you want to see him, you can come down here. I was like,
Alexis was at her mother Alberta's house that Saturday. This is January 29th. She had driven there with both kids, about 80 miles from her apartment in Greenville, and she called TJ and said he could come see their son. But then she changed her mind.
I'm down here. I was like, okay, I'll come down there. Then she changed her mind, saying that, nah, just wait. Let me spend more time with him. I'm like, what you mean spend more time with him? You don't had him for 2 weeks. I ain't seen my son. You ain't even let me video chat him. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, just let me spend more time. I can feel you crying through him. What you mean you can feel him crying through me? Through him.
She told TJ she could feel their son crying through him, like she had some kind of spiritual connection or premonition, like she knew something bad was gonna happen.
So I'm like, the hell? I said, okay, Liz. I said, she said, but I said, can I get him Sunday, the next day? She was like, let me think about it. I said, okay, I ain't gonna argue with you. All right, cool, get out the phone. So Sunday come. You know what I'm saying? This shit hurt my feelings so bad because at the end of the day, that's my child mother and I love her. You feel me? I know she been going through something mentally. I don't know what's going on and that shit hurt me. So that Sunday, I called my cousin. I said, cuz, you going to church? He was like, yeah. I said, man, I'm gonna pull up. I'm going to church today. You know what I'm saying? So I pulled up.
Man said he's going to church, fam, because that phone call must have been no joke, fam. Yeah, she was saying some things that she's never said before, but it made him think to go to the Lord. I hear it though.
I sat in the car. I ain't even get out the car, and I'm shedding tears because this shit hurt me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never seen it like this.
This man was sitting in his car outside church crying because he could see that something was wrong with the mother of his child. He knew she was going through something mentally, and it was hurting him because he still cared about her. But here's where it gets even more disturbing. Before TJ went to church that Sunday morning, Alexis told him something that's going to make your skin crawl.
Now, mind me now, before I went to church, Lex didn't even want me to go to church. She kept on saying, TJ, don't go to church. I keep seeing you down in oncoming traffic like a car gonna hit you head on.
She was having visions of him being taken out in a head-on collision. She begged him not to go to church because she kept seeing him being hit by a car.
She saw me a car crash, which I got in my inbox, so somebody got killed on a head-on car crash.
She sent him a message about somebody who got taken out in a head-on car crash. She was trying to warn him, or maybe, and this is what's so chilling, maybe she was trying to tell him that she had done something, that she had put something on him, that whatever she was involved in spiritually was targeting him next. But word,
because this ain't no joke, fam. This ain't no joke. Magic ain't no joke. Still, I'll be real.
TJ's response shows you the kind of person he is.
I'm like, Lex, man, listen. One thing about it, you can't stop death. You feel me? Like, whatever happen, gonna happen. I ain't scared of it. I ain't scared of death. You know what I'm saying? We all gotta go. So, I went on to church anyway. She begged me not to go. I went on anyway. So, we left church, came home, changed clothes, and went to the game and watched the NFC and the ALC game. Went to, Wild Wings. You know what I'm saying? Watched the Kansas City game up there at Wild Wings. Left Wild Wings, went to my aunt's house. You feel me?
It's Sunday afternoon now, January 30th, 2022. TJ is at his aunt's house watching football, and that's when his phone rang.
She called me. And I put on speakerphone, let my cousin hear how she talking out the side of her head.
He put the phone on speaker so his cousin could hear what Alexis was saying, because at this point her behavior had gotten so concerning that TJ wanted a witness to what was happening. This is what Alexis said on that phone call.
So she got there, she was like, she said, where you at? I said, I'm at my aunt's house watching the game. So she was like, well, come and meet me on 29 at 7-Eleven where you get the kids. She said, I'm about to run out of gas. I got like 3 miles left. I said, okay. So as she talking, she like, TJ, watch out for these cars. Watch out for a white car, gray car, black car.
She was warning him about specific colored vehicles, like somebody was following them. Like somebody was coming for them.
Now, mind me, now I'm like, okay, so I put on speakerphone, let my cousin and everybody hear. So I'm like, okay, I'm on my way. So my cousin like, boy, go get your son, boy. So I was like, shit, I say no more. I doubt no more. We left.
And TJ left to go meet Alexis at that
Yeah, she's moving mental, bro. Like she's not all right, bro. She's not all right still.
7-Eleven. But before we get to what happened at that gas station, we need to understand what else was going on with Alexis during this time. Because the phone call to TJ, the predictions about him being hit by a car, that wasn't even the most disturbing thing Alexis did that week. 4 days before she disappeared, on Wednesday, January 26, something happened that was caught on camera. And when you see this footage, when you hear what Alexis said, you're gonna understand why people are talking about root work, why people are talking about spells, and why some people believe that whatever Alexis was involved in spiritually might have cost her everything. Alexis was living at Rocky Creek Apartments in Greenville, and on that Wednesday evening, one of her neighbors had a Ring doorbell camera. That camera captured Alexis walking up to their door, and what she said in that footage, what she was holding in her hand, it's going to change everything you thought you knew about this case. Now, before we talk about what Alexis said, we need to understand why she was at that neighbor's door in the first place. Because according to Alexis's family members who spoke publicly about this, the neighbor had seen something. They had witnessed Alexis in the backyard area of the apartment complex, and she was digging. The neighbor saw Alexis digging up or burying something, a box. And when Alexis realized she'd been seen, she went to that neighbor's door to explain herself. An activist named Tracy, who was helping with the search efforts later, actually went to Rocky Creek Apartments after Alexis disappeared. And Tracy confirmed that there was an area in the back that looked like something had been dug up. The ground was disturbed, but the box, nobody ever found it. To this day, we don't know where that box is or what was in it. But we do know what Alexis said when she knocked on that neighbor's door, and we can see what she was holding in her hand when she said it. The neighbor didn't open the door. They spoke to Alexis through the Ring camera. And the very first thing that came out of Alexis's mouth was this.
Hey, it's your neighbor upstairs.
What's up?
I was letting you know that I ain't gonna lie, I do like root work and shit like that, but good and bad.
That's how she opened the conversation. Not, hey, how you doing? Not sorry to bother you. She led with root work, and she made sure to specify that she does both good and bad root work. Now, for those of you who don't know what root work is, let me explain real quick.
Yeah, she is going. She's deep in this still. She was fully involved, fam. I can't lie, man said root work. Man needs to know what this fully means. Because this is looking peak.
Root work, also called hoodoo or conjure, is a traditional African American folk magic practice. It involves using natural items, herbs, roots, personal items to cast spells or influence situations. Some people use it for protection, for healing, for love, but it can also be used to cause harm, to control people, to curse people. And when you're doing root work, when you're casting spells, the items you use afterwards, they have to be disposed of properly. You can bury them in a yard, you can throw them in a river, you can take them to a crossroads. Some spells even require you to bury the items in a graveyard. And here's something specific that people who practice root work will tell you when you bury something in your yard, in your backyard, especially when you're doing love spells. It's to keep someone close to you. It's to bind them to you, to make sure they can't leave you or forget about you. So when Alexis was caught digging in that backyard, and she went to her neighbor's door holding what looked like a small garden spade or digging tool, and the first thing she said was, "I do root work, good and bad," she was explaining herself. She was letting them know, what you saw me doing back there, that was intentional. That was spiritual work. And you need to understand that I know what I'm doing. But here's what makes...
No, word. That was like, yeah, if you say anything to anyone, yeah, just know something's gonna reach you, you get me? So yeah, just know what you're doing. Just yeah, turn off the ring cam and just yeah, go about your business.
this even more interesting. In that same ring camera footage, Alexis started talking about an ex. She mentioned someone, a past relationship, and the neighbor asked if she was talking about her kid's father. The exact details of that part of the conversation aren't completely clear, but what we do know is that Alexis was connecting her root work to someone from her past. Now think about the timeline. This Ring doorbell footage happened on Wednesday, January 26. 3 days before that, on Tuesday night at 1:30 a.m., Alexis had called TJ and told him, "My last 5 exes died. I wish death upon them." Was TJ one of those exes she was talking about? Was that box in the backyard connected to him? And if it was, what was she doing? Was she casting a spell, or was she breaking one? Because here's what some people who understand root work have pointed out. If Alexis was burying...
Blood? Everybody needs to go and yeah, see if anything's buried in their garden right now. Yeah, and everything's missing from your yard. Yeah, bro, because this is mental, bro. Like, imagine being with someone and they're doing spells behind your back and that, like, with shit that you own and that and stuff like that and that, man. Like, she probably knew that he was gonna get hit by the car or whatever because it's happened to. Do you get it? And she's done the spells on them before. You get me? That's mental. And I feel like, I don't know, man. I feel like she regretted this one, but the other ones, she's moving dark.
something, that means she was casting a spell or maintaining one. But if she was digging something up, that means she was trying to undo a spell. She was trying to break whatever she had put in motion. Remember what TJ said? Alexis called him on Sunday morning and told him she kept seeing him in a head-on car crash. She begged him not to go to church. She was terrified something was going to happen to him. What if Alexis had cast a death spell on TJ, buried it in that backyard, and then realized what she had done? What if she was trying to dig it up to save him? And what if, by doing that, she broke some kind of spiritual rule? What if she opened herself up to something she couldn't control?
Yeah, bro, because the magic backfired on you. You get me? Like, you know what happens when you do the spell and then you went against the spell. So you're going to have to pay the price. You get me? There's always a price to this.
Now, I'm not here to tell you what to believe spiritually, but what I am telling you is that Alexis believed it. She believed in what she was doing. And whatever was happening to her, whether it was spiritual or psychological or both, it was real to her, and it was terrifying her. Let's go back to that final weekend at her mama's house, because we need to understand what Alexis was telling her family. Alexis arrived at her mother Alberta's house on Friday, January 28, with both of her children. She fed the kids and then went to sleep. Nothing seemed unusual that first night, but on Saturday, January 29th, things started to get concerning. Alberta noticed that Alexis wasn't acting like herself. She was scared. She was anxious. And then Alexis started telling her mother things that Alberta will never forget. Someone had been calling Alexis's phone all day, a number she didn't recognize, a number she had blocked, but somehow the calls kept getting through. Alexis showed her mother the phone. She showed her the blocked number list. The number was right there, blocked, but it was still calling, still getting through. And when Alberta asked her daughter who it was, Alexis said something chilling. She called the person the devil, not a name, not this guy I know, or someone from my past. She said the devil was calling her phone. Now, Alberta also mentioned that recently...
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that someone's calling you and you block them and they're still calling you through the same thing? Like, that's mental. Like, the number's just showing as well. It's not even unknown, it's just showing. No, that is definitely some mad powers, fam, I'll be honest.
Alexis had gotten really into astrology. She was reading about her zodiac sign, about Pisces, about predictions and spiritual meanings. She was telling people to pay attention to certain things, like the road, like certain colors. She was talking about seeing things that were going to happen in the future. But on that Saturday at her mama's house, Alexis wasn't just reading horoscopes. She was terrified. She told her mother that someone in a black truck had been following her, not just once or twice. This had been going on for weeks. Every time she went somewhere, there was this black truck behind her. And then Alexis said something that broke her mother's heart. She started crying, and through her tears, she kept saying, "I'm not gonna see my 30th birthday. I know I'm not gonna make it to my birthday." Her 30th birthday was coming up in March, just 2 months away. And Alexis was convinced she wasn't gonna live to see it. Alberta didn't know what to do.
Nah, this is crazy. Can you imagine saying that to someone, like your mum or something? Or your mum has to hear that. Or if your mum and your daughter comes up to you and says, yeah, like all of these things are happening and I know that I'm gonna make it to my 30th birthday, which is in 2 months. That's some scary shit to hear, fam. I'll be honest.
She didn't know if her daughter was having some kind of breakdown, if someone was really threatening her, or what was happening. But she knew her baby was scared. She knew something was wrong. The next day, Sunday, January 30th, Alexis got ready to leave. She was gonna drive back to Greenville with the kids. But Alberta didn't want her to go. After everything Alexis had said the night before, after seeing how scared she was, Alberta begged her to stay. At first, Alexis agreed. She said she would stay, but then she changed her mind. She told her mother she was okay. She got dressed, did her hair and makeup, and said she was heading home. Alberta watched her daughter leave around noon, and according to what Alberta told the media later, Alexis told her she was exhausted and was going straight home to take a nap. At 3 p.m. that afternoon, Alberta called Alexis on FaceTime to check on her. And Alexis answered right away. She was in her bed, just like she said she would be. She told her mother she was taking a nap and would call her back when she got up. But here's what happened next, and this detail is crucial. According to reports, after that FaceTime call, Alexis saw something outside her apartment that terrified her. There was a black truck outside, the same...
Nah, imagine that though, but this black truck just keeps following you. Bro, that's mental. But I would have had to just gone to the black truck already and seen who's in there, man. You think I'm making this black truck follow me for 2 weeks and that? Oh yeah, but she didn't want to approach it because she probably knew she could tell, like, yeah. It's one of them, man. It's one of the demon people, them.
Black truck she'd been telling people was following her. And there was someone inside it. Alexis called the police. We don't know exactly what happened when the police came, if they actually spoke to her or just drove by the area. But what we do know is that after the police left, Alexis made a decision. She got her kids, she got in her car, and she left her apartment. A few hours later, she called TJ and asked him to meet her at the 7-Eleven so she could give him the children. Now let's get back to TJ's account of what happened at that gas station. Because his description of how Alexis was acting, what she was saying, it's going to show you just how afraid this woman was. TJ pulls up to the 7-Eleven on Highway 29 in Anderson, South Carolina. It's about 7:30 p.m. on Sunday, January 30th.
So I was like, shit, I say no more. I doubt no more. We left. I pull up at 7-Eleven. You know what I'm saying? She's sitting at the gas pump. I get out, go in the car. Go in the stove. I pump 35 in her gas tank, and I put 20 in mine.
So the first thing TJ does is put gas in both of their vehicles. Alexis had told him she was running out of gas.
I come back in, come back out, get my son out the car. You know what I'm saying? She asked me, could Naomi go with me, her daughter? I was like, yeah, she can go. So I was like,
This is important. TJ was expecting to just pick up his son. That was the plan. But when he got there, Alexis asked if her daughter Naomi could go with him too.
Yeah, that's mental. Why? That's a bit bougie.
She said, okay. She said, TJ, watch out for this car. She got pointing at cars like white car, black car, gray car. She said, watch out for these cars.
She was pointing at specific cars in the gas station parking lot, telling him to watch out for them, like they were being watched. And then she said something even stranger.
She said, matter of fact, don't stop at no red lights. So I'm like, man, what you mean? I said, babe, you need help. You need to get some help. So I'm like, she was like, she know, TJ, I'm telling you.
And then she did something that TJ says he'll never forget.
Telling you. She's like, give me a hug,
Hug me.
So I hugged her, you know what I'm saying? The hug didn't feel right, something wasn't right.
The kids, he had his son and Naomi in his car, and he needed to get them home. So this is what happened.
So I got there and hugged, got in the car, and I pulled off. For y'all the one that's in Anderson, I turn on Amity Road. As I pass Welfare Church, I barely passed Welfare Church. And she got dang on, she sped around me, bus right going out Anderson Belton Highway. So I just started calling. I'm like, where the hell she going? She supposed to been following me to my mom's house, but she said she was going to her mom's house. So I'm like, damn, what? I started calling. I called about 3 times. She cut the phone off. So I go to the house. You feel me? I'm going to the house. So goddamn on, I call her mom. I'm like, man, you talk to Liz. She supposed to be coming down there. She was like, nah, I ain't talk to her. She said, so she like, I like, man, she got the phone off. I got the kids. You feel me? So I'm like, she say, okay, I'm finna call her now. So she started calling on Facebook. Calling. I ain't getting no response. We hear nothing else no more. I ain't hear nothing else. You feel me?
Now here's what the surveillance footage from that 7-Eleven showed. The camera's DID capture Alexis pulling up in her red 2019 Honda Accord. They DID show her interacting with TJ. But here's the problem. A big tractor trailer pulled into the gas station right when they were doing the exchange. It blocked the camera's view of the most important moments. So we can't see her putting the kids in TJ's car. We can't see their final conversation. We can see them there, but we can't see everything that happened. And then they both left in their separate vehicles. After Alexis sped away from TJ, her car was spotted on surveillance at an apartment complex in Anderson, not Rocky Creek Apartments where she lived. A different apartment complex. And according to investigators, Alexis had no known connection to this place. Nobody could explain why her car would be there. The car was seen there multiple times that night, but you can't make out who's driving. Then highway cameras picked up her red Honda Accord traveling toward Augusta, Georgia, and then coming back to South Carolina. But the footage wasn't clear enough to confirm if Alexis was the one driving. And then, nothing. The car disappeared. For the next 2 days, Alexis's family kept calling her phone, kept trying to reach her, but everything went to voicemail. Alexis always answered her phone. That was one thing everybody said about her. No matter what time, no matter what day, if you called Alexis, she picked up. Her cousin Kayla said she always answers. Like even if I call at 3 in the morning, she always picks up the phone. But now, silence. On Monday, January 31st, Alexis was supposed to have an appointment at the lottery office in Augusta, Georgia. She had lottery tickets she was planning to take there, but she never showed up. By Tuesday, February 1st, the family knew something was seriously wrong. Alexis's sister called the Anderson County Sheriff's Office and filed a missing persons report. And the next day, February 2nd, they got the call that would confirm their worst fears. A man in McCormick County, South Carolina, had called the police about an abandoned car on the side of a dirt road. A red Honda Accord. South Carolina plates. When police ran the plates, they realized whose car it was. It was Alexis's. McCormick County is about 50 miles from Anderson, about an hour's drive, and the car wasn't on a main road. It was on a dirt road, a remote, rural, heavily wooded area, the kind of place you don't just stumble across. You have to know where you're going for you to end up there. When investigators got to the car and looked inside, here's what they found. Alexis's cell phone, her purse with her ID inside, a bag of clothes in the trunk, her daughter's cell phone, everything she would need to survive, to identify herself, to function in the world, was sitting in that car.
Yeah, that's mad. Like, everything. So she never got robbed. Nothing happened to her. Like, you get me, like that, yeah? Like, all her belongings are in the car and that, and she's just missing. That's really weird, fam. I can't lie. Really weird.
But Alexis wasn't there. And outside the car, lying in the grass nearby, was the black hair bonnet she'd been wearing at the 7-Eleven that night. Now think about that for a second. Hair bonnets don't just fall off. They stay on your head. They're meant to protect your hair while you sleep, while you move around. For that bonnet to be on the ground, outside the car, something had to happen. Either Alexis took it off in a hurry, or there was some kind of struggle, some kind of situation that caused it to come off her head. Alexis's mother, Alberta, said it herself in an interview. When she was at the gas station, that was on her head. So if it came off, the first instinct that you would do as a woman is pick it up and put it back on. That right there is enough to say that there had to be some kind of scuffle to take place. Law enforcement immediately started searching the area. They brought in search teams. They brought in helicopters. They brought in cadaver dogs. They searched 222 acres around where that car was found. 8 hours of intensive searching, K9 units, state police, everything. They found nothing. No trace of Alexis, no clothing, no evidence, nothing. On February 3rd, they did another search. On February 8th, McCormick County Sheriff organized another massive search effort. Over and over, they combed through those woods, but Alexis Ware had vanished. When forensics processed the car, here's what they found. No blood. No signs of a struggle inside the vehicle. The only fingerprints in the car belonged to Alexis. Nobody else, but the car was covered in mud, like it had been driven through rough terrain to get to that location. So what happened? How did Alexis's car end up on that remote dirt road with...
Yeah, this is mental. Imagine, like, how the police are feeling. They've gone over there to look for the person, and there's no evidence, no nothing, no blood, no nothing. So she can't just vanish in thin air. That's mad.
all of her belongings inside, but Alexis herself was nowhere to be found. The family started doing everything they could to find her. They organized search parties, they put up billboards, they went on the news, they created social media pages. The Black and Missing Foundation donated billboard space. A $5,000 reward was offered through Crime Stoppers for any information. And while the family was out there searching, while they were begging for answers, social media had already made up its mind about who was responsible. Everybody was pointing at TJ Patterson. He was the last person to see her. He was her ex. He was the father of her child.
Yeah, but he took the kids and drove off. So how could he have done anything to her? What, with the kids in the car? How could he have done anything to her with the kids in the car? Like, he took off with his kids, innit? And the plan was to go back to her mom's house and that. So, why? I don't know how that could happen.
And in cases like this, it's always the ex, right? People were digging into his background. They were analyzing every word he said. They were accusing him of setting the whole thing up. They were calling him a suspect, and TJ felt like his name was being destroyed. But here's what people weren't paying attention to. Here's what makes TJ's situation different. TJ Patterson was wearing an ankle monitor. Let me explain what that means. And
Swear down, he was, yeah. That's what bust him, I can't lie. Man said he was wearing the ankle monitor. So, yeah, it definitely wasn't him.
an ankle monitor is a GPS tracking device that the court makes you wear if you're out on bond or on probation. It tracks your location 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Everywhere you go is recorded. Every movement is tracked. TJ was on bond for an unrelated charge. He was wearing that ankle monitor on January 30th when he met Alexis at the 7-Eleven, which means the police could verify everything he said with the click of a button. His entire timeline, where he was before the gas station, where he went after, how long he was at each location. And according to Alexis's stepfather Frank, who spoke to the media, TJ's alibi checked out. The police verified his story. He went to Wild Wings. He went to his aunt's house. He went to the 7-Eleven. He went to his mother's house. He went home. The next morning he went to work on time. Everything matched up with what the GPS showed. And remember, TJ's cousin was with him that day. His cousin heard the phone call from Alexis. His cousin went with him to the gas station. His cousin saw everything, but there's another witness. Someone even more important. Someone who was there at that 7-Eleven. Someone who left with TJ. Alexis's 9-year-old daughter, Naomi. Naomi, the 9-year-old. She was in the car when they left that 7-Eleven. She saw everything, and the Anderson County Sheriff's Office questioned that little girl. They sat down with her for 3 to 4 hours. And you know what Naomi told them? The exact same story TJ told. Not similar, not close. Exact. Her family confirmed this publicly. Every single time they asked Naomi what happened that night, her story never changed. She said the same thing every time. She told them they got gas, her mama drove off real fast, and she went a different way. A 9-year-old child doesn't lie consistently for hours. Children, especially when they're scared or confused, they mix up details. They change their stories. But Naomi, her account was solid, and it matched what TJ said word for word. So the police had GPS data from TJ's ankle monitor. They had his cousin as a witness. They had Naomi's testimony. They had surveillance footage showing them at the gas station together. Everything checked out. On January 30th, 2023, exactly 1 year after Alexis disappeared, the Anderson County Sheriff's Office made an official announcement. They released a statement saying that TJ Patterson was no longer a person of interest in this case.
Today, the Anderson County Sheriff's Office revealed that the father of Alexis's son is no longer a person of interest by detectives. That man was the last person to see Ware the day that she went missing. The FBI is also assisting in the search. There is a $5,000 reward being offered by Crime Stoppers for help in finding Alexis Ware.
They cleared him, officially. But being cleared by the police and being cleared in people's minds, those are two different things. Some people still think TJ knows something. They think maybe he didn't do it himself, but maybe he set it up. Maybe he had someone else involved. And I understand why people think that way. Because when a woman goes missing after meeting her ex, it's natural to look at him first. But here's what I want you to understand. TJ is not the only person in Alexis's life who people should have been looking at, because there's someone else. Someone that TJ mentioned in his live video. Someone that Alexis's own mother knew about. And this person, they haven't been in the spotlight. They haven't been investigated publicly. And TJ is frustrated about it. Listen to what TJ said in his video about this.
And Miss Alberta, me and you, we talk every day, nigga. We sat on the phone nights crying, talking to each other every day. You know I wasn't no suspect off top, nigga. Let's keep this shit a band. Let's keep this shit a band. Like, let's go ahead and tell, when I was locked up during my time, what about that dude Lex was messing with, having an affair with? What about that? Ain't nobody speaking on that, is it? That's who was obsessed with her. Y'all seen the messages? She sent me the message. Tell me don't send it out. Don't send it out to nobody. Don't know. Nigga, I'm tired of motherfucker bashing my name. I'm sending it to everybody I know.
Wait, hold on. Let me make sure you caught that. TJ is saying that when he was locked up, when he was in jail, Alexis was involved with another man, and this man was obsessed with her, and she was having a fight with him. Some kind of conflict, some kind of situation. And TJ says that Alexis's mother, Alberta, Kay, knows about this man. He's been asking her about it.
You know what I'm saying? Come on, bruh. She know whatever Lex had got going on, bruh. If anybody knows, she know. I ain't had nothing to do with nothing. Period. You know what I'm saying? I kept questioning her. Damn, Miss Alberta, but she talking to another dude? I mean, it gotta be. You know what I'm saying? Is this a plot, a setup, or something? I mean, what is it? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? So I finally kept drilling her. So one day, last Monday? Last Monday, she sent me the message. She said, "Oh, it hit me like a lightning bolt." Yeah, she was messing. I didn't want to be the one to tell you. Yeah, she was having an affair with this dude. Come on, man. But y'all got there. But you already know what's going on. But you just not telling the police this shit. And
That's mad, because for the mother to know that and then don't tell the police that she was having a fight with someone, some next to you, and he's not even in the spotlight or nothing like that, yeah, is brazy work. So what's really going on there? Because if the daughter is doing Ross Clark roots work, what is her mum not doing roots work as well? Like, they must know, bro, like what going on that, bro. What the hell?
it is almost a month later. What type of shit that is, bro? What type of shit that is? Come on, man, keep that shit a band, nigga.
He's saying Alberta knows what's going on with this man, but she's not telling the police. A month after Alexis disappeared, and this information hasn't been given to investigators. Now, we don't know who this man is. We don't have a name. We don't have confirmation from Alberta herself about this because she hasn't spoken publicly about it. But TJ is saying on camera for everyone to see that there is another person who needs to be looked at. Someone who was obsessed with Alexis, and people in the community have been talking about this too. In the comments on videos about this case, people have mentioned a few possibilities. Some people say it was a club promoter. Some people say it was someone connected to law enforcement. There's been talk about a married man, but nothing has been confirmed. Nothing has been investigated publicly, and that is what's frustrating about this case. Because if
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Like, you get me? How is it that like they're onto the baby father, which drove away with the youths and that to go to the house, but she was messing about with someone else before that, and he ain't been questioned or nothing like that? That's mad, cuz.
there's someone out there who was obsessed with Alexis, who she was afraid of, who she might have been calling the devil on her phone, who might have been driving that black truck following her, shouldn't we be trying to find out who that is? Could this be the person Alexis was running from when she sped away from TJ at that red light? Could this be the person she was trying to protect her children from by making sure they were safely with their father before she disappeared? We don't know, because nobody is talking about it. Nobody is investigating it publicly, and that's a problem. Another strange thing that happened, Alberta started receiving messages from someone claiming to know where Alexis was. These messages started coming in on social media out of nowhere from an unknown person. They claimed to have information about Alexis's whereabouts, but then it got darker. One of the messages said Alberta should just go ahead and plan her daughter's funeral, and someone tried to extort money from the family. They asked for $200 in exchange for Alexis's safe return.
Man said $200. They're taking the piss. Man said $200 for a safe return. They're mugging it.
The family gave all this information to the Anderson County Sheriff's Office, but they couldn't determine if it was a cruel hoax or if there was any truth to it. Most likely, it was someone trying to take advantage of a grieving family's desperation. So where does that leave us? 3 years later, what do we actually know about what happened to Alexis Ware? Here's what we know for certain. Alexis was going through something in those final weeks. Whether it was spiritual, psychological, or both. Something was happening to her that changed her behavior dramatically. She was saying things about death, about predictions, about seeing the future. She was practicing root work. She was burying things in her backyard. She was terrified of someone or something. She told multiple people she wasn't going to live to see her 30th birthday. And on March 23rd, 2022, that birthday came and went. Her family held a celebration for her. They got a seafood boil, her favorite food. They got a cake with her picture on it. But Alexis wasn't there, just like she predicted.
Oh my days. Craziness. Crazy works.
She didn't make it to 30. Now there are several theories about what happened, and I want to walk through them with you honestly because this case doesn't have a clear answer. Theory number 1, the root work backfired. A lot of people who understand
That's what I think. That's what I think.
spiritual practices, people who work in hoodoo or conjure, they've said that what happened to Alexis is a classic case of spiritual consequences. If you cast spells to harm people, if you wish death on people, and those things actually happen, there's a cost. There's always a cost. Some people believe that Alexis successfully cursed 5 of her exes, and when they passed away, the spirit she called on came back for her. They took her mind first, making her paranoid and afraid, and then they took her life. Whether you believe in this or not, the fact is that Alexis believed it, and her fear was real. Theory number 2, mental health crisis. Some people think Alexis was having a psychotic break, that maybe postpartum depression from her youngest child, or bipolar disorder, or even schizophrenia had been triggered. Her behavior, the paranoia, the predictions, the giving away of possessions, the erratic decisions, these are all consistent with someone experiencing a severe mental health episode. And if that's what was happening, it's possible that Alexis drove to that remote area, left her car, and wandered into the woods in a confused state. Maybe she's out there somewhere, and they just haven't found her yet. Theory number 3. She staged her own disappearance. Some people think Alexis planned this. They point to the bag of clothes in her trunk, the fact that she made sure her children were safe with TJ before she disappeared. The way she sped off so deliberately, they think maybe Alexis was trying to escape from something or someone in her life, and she created a situation that would make it look like foul play, so nobody would come looking for her. Maybe she's alive somewhere trying to start over. But if that's true, why would she leave her phone and her ID? How would she
And friends and everyone, youths, everyone, bro. Like, just what? That's mental.
survive without those things? And more importantly, would a mother who loved her children as much as Alexis did really abandon them like that? Theory number 4, foul play. This is what most people believe, that someone harmed Alexis, that the person who was calling her phone, the person driving that black truck, the mystery man who was obsessed with her, whoever that is, they caught up with her. Maybe they were following her when she left the 7-Eleven. Maybe they forced her off the road. Maybe they confronted her at that remote location and something terrible happened.
What do you think happened to this woman, this lady? Comment in the comment section what you think happened to her, man, because this is mental, man. This is scary, fam.
The bonnet on the ground outside the car suggests there might have been some kind of struggle, and the fact that all her belongings were left behind suggests she didn't leave voluntarily. I don't know which theory is correct. None of us do, but what I do know is this: Alexis Ware was afraid. She told people she was afraid. She said someone was following her. She said someone was calling her. She said she was in danger, and now she's gone. And 3 years later, as of 2025, her family is still fighting for answers. On January 30th, 2025, the 3-year anniversary of Alexis's disappearance, her family did something powerful. They presented a proposed bill to the Greenville County Legislative Delegation. They're calling it the Alexis Ware Act to enhance missing person investigations. Here's what this bill would do. It would allow families of missing persons to request that SELD, the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, take over an investigation if it remains unresolved after 12 months. Right now, SELD can only get involved if the local police department invites them in. And when Alexis's mother, Alberta, reached out to SELD asking for help, they told her, "We have to be invited in by the investigating agency." The Anderson County Sheriff's Office has been leading this investigation for 3 years, and while they say they've been working hard on the case, that they've followed every lead, that multiple agencies including CELD, the FBI, the Attorney General's Office, and Homeland Security are all aware of the case details, the fact remains Alexis has not been found. There have been no arrests. There have been no major breaks in the case. So the family is pushing for this law that would give them the ability to ask for state-level resources after a year of local investigation. Bruce Wilson, a family friend and advocate who presented the bill, said, "The Alexis Ware Act was born out of a desire to address gaps in our current system and to provide families like Alexis's with hope, resources, and the support they deserve."
Yeah, man. I can't lie to you. This is brazy. This episode's been brazy. I can't lie. This episode, madness. Yeah. If you like the content, you know what to do, man. Big slam from the Southside. Madness.
Big wood in a church like that. Big wood in a church like that. Bend over and take back shot. Bend over and take back shot. Me like it when she jump and cock. She jump off cocky when cocky get hot. Legs up when cocky knock knock. Throw up when cocky knock knock. Big wood in a church like that.